Yo, what's shaking? It's your boy FB, man. Here again, man, by the grace of Allah, man. You heard? Definitely want to give a shout out to the people who enter in the building, those who have supported me, man. You know what I'm saying? Prior to going to prison, during prison, and after prison. Big shout out, man, to those that we've lost and those that I've left, man, languishing in those prison walls, man. Got my boy Chip with me, King. What up?
What up? Salute, salute, salute.
Man, how you feel, man? How you doing?
Man, it's a blessed day, man. We're gonna sit up here and really let's get down to the nitty gritty, man. Let's give the people kind of what they've been waiting for, man. They've been waiting for certain explanations, certain ways of conduct uh between not only now but then back then. So we're gonna give them the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, man.
So help me God.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right. Say that then, man. Yeah, that's what's shaking. Or
Salute to the chat, man. Salute to the chat, man. Appreciate y'all for pulling up.
definitely, definitely.
Everybody in the chat, man. Y'all slap that like button, man. You know,
Please, please subscribe,
definitely.
share, tell a
Wow.
friend, tell a friend, and tell a friend. That way.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. As a community, we're gonna grow. Each episode, we're gonna get better and better. And like I said, we're gonna get this platform monetized ASAP.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
big,
most of all,
big,
man,
big shout.
most of all, man, we just gonna have we gonna have fun and enjoy what we doing, and that's just what I'm saying, Shannon, man. You heard like anything else that comes from this situation, man, is another blessing that the Most High sees fit. You dig me personally, man. You know what I mean? Just want to push it out, man. You know what I mean? And hopefully, man, assist somebody, man, with my story, man. You know what I mean? And the stories of men like me, man, in order to, what I'm saying, prevent them from having to go through the trials and tribulations that, what I'm saying, I've had to encounter, man. So yeah, that's what that is, King.
No doubt. So, of course, under section 107, them copyright laws, we just basically making sure that we cover the guidelines to make sure that we uh are holding ourselves accountable for anything that could be said or misinterpreted, so on and so
Big
forth.
facts.
Just know that, a lot of it, some of this is allegedly, that goes to protect all the innocent names that might be mentioned or so called, so on and so forth. Is it's alleged, uh, and you have other resources that you could fact check. A lot of things that we're gonna spit to you today. So, with that being said, man, FB, let me start off. Let me take the people back, uh, way back to the inception of the East Coast side of things, man. How, from your perspective, from your eyesight, uh, what 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 made your introduction into the lifestyle kind of different than others, or different than the myths that's out there?
I don't know, because I'm not sure what the myths are. You know what I mean?
All
Like,
right,
help me
so
understand what the myths are.
let's go through some of the myths, right? So some of the myths is, you know, a gang affiliate got locked up, and they was from the West Coast. They came to, you know, they came on the island and kind of pushed their ways onto, the individuals on the East Coast that was there. Uh, like I said, again, a lot of this is hearsay. A lot of this is things that you hear on the myth realm. Uh, we just need some clarity.
I mean, um, one, When the individual that you're speaking about, which is, you know what I'm saying, OG Mac, you know, came to the island, um, I wasn't privy per se to that aspect. You know what I mean? I was still in the street more or less. You know what I'm saying? Low life. You know what I mean? And doing me. You know, and doing us. So you know, a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't know. I went up north. I went up north in '93. You know what I mean? And the inception of Ola was already, you know what I'm saying, I guess taking place, you know what I'm saying, through, the likes of people like Mac, you know what I mean, and whoever he was uh attached to at that time. You know what I mean? 95, you know what I'm saying? I came back down from up north on work release, you know what I'm saying? But me and Shaquille was up north together, you know what I mean? And he preceded me to, Queensboro or whatever, whatever. So, you know what I mean, by the time I got down to, Queensboro, or better yet, by the time I got to this Queensboro, got to the street or whatever the case may be, I had this overzealous ass PO, you dig what I'm saying, who was on a boy's line. You know what I mean? My boy had, you know what I'm saying, gave me, you know what I'm saying, SC 400 or whatever the case may be. And I wound up driving up to the PO building. You know what I'm saying? And parking 2 blocks away like I'm slick anyway. Another PO sent me or whatever the case may be. And I got smacked, you know what I mean, when I got in there to do, because let me not leave out the fact that I had caught a charge that wasn't my charge. It was one of my homies' charge, man. God rest his soul. You dig what I'm saying? It was his charge, you know what I'm saying? And he had wound up robbing a PO. You dig? So with a situation that I had for robbing somebody else, so it was said that I had fit the description of the second individual that was with my homie who wound up robbing this PO. You dig what I'm saying? So I got snatched up in that. However, I pled no contest, pleaded guilty to a 2.5 to 5, went up north for the 93A number. Boom. You know what I mean? This time, you know what I mean? I ran into the likes of many individuals, but the one particular individual was my son Shaquell. You dig what I'm saying? My G. And basically we was in Woodburn together. I mean, and he made it down before me. You know what I mean? But by the time I got down, you know what I'm saying, and caught my violation in 94, 95, he was on the island already for a new one. You know what I'm saying? Where he had, you know what I'm saying, wound up smacking something that somebody tried to, test him and didn't know who they were dealing with. And, you know what I mean? He caught a cat, so he in 95. I'm in HDM. So anybody that know, you know what I mean, they know HDM in 95 yard, you know what I'm saying? Like you could talk actually through the fence. So when I see my son, I'm like, yo, boy, what up? So what you going on with all this red? You're like, yo, boy, it's a movement and da da da. And yo, F, you need to rock because yo, you already big in them streets with the low lives and da 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 da. I'm like, what's this about? You're like, yo, bro, you know what I mean? Dudes is just tired of, you know what I'm saying, these Latin dudes doing this, that, and the third, speaking of the Latin kings and yetas and familiars and so forth and so on. So at the time, like, I'm one deep. You dig what I'm saying? And it's during the times, like, you done slid through the island while I was there, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
So I'm one deep playing for keeps. So really the interests of other people, and let me be very fair, you know what I mean? Like, I was real, like, on some one man, in a sense, one man shit. If I didn't know you or you wasn't familiar to me and I didn't respect you, then it was me alone, and I wasn't having no issues. They wasn't doing anything to me. I was rocking my shine, rocking my fronts in my mouth from low down. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm going on visits and so forth, so on. So it really wasn't no care. But what I was doing was not caring about others who had the same pigmentation as me. So when them same said individuals like Kings and Anthos familiars would come up and be like, yo, Bob B, what's up with old boy? You know what I'm saying? What's up with that banana over there? I was like, I don't know, I ain't give a fuck. You dig what I'm saying? And opened the door for them to have their way with them, with the black guy. You know what I mean? And really didn't even, you know what I'm saying, have no concerns of it, but hearing it from Quell, you know what I'm saying, my bro, you know what I'm saying, rest in peace, man, Robo Just. You know what I mean? And CK, like, in the different times that we, kind of lined up and met, it's like, yo, hold up, nah, this is over with, man. We ain't letting them do that no more. You know what I'm saying? If they do it to one, we gonna do it to three of them. They do it to two or three of us, we gonna do it to five of them, six of them. You know what I mean? And that's where we, that's how we was giving it up. So yeah, so when he really explained it, you know what I'm saying, him being Shaquille, you know what I'm saying, Justin CK, it was like an easy thing. It was like, all right, say no more. If y'all good with it, then shit, I'm good with it. You dig what I'm saying? Like it ain't no problem being I'm not already, you know what I mean? I was doing that in the street. So again, man, they just felt that I had the numbers already dealing with low lights, and that I could bring a big faction or faction nonetheless to the cause. So yeah, it was like it was an easy thing. Let's get it. So yeah, that's how it started for me. You know what I'm saying, with GKB, and I was like like the number seven between 1 to 10. I think I'm like the number seven for the 10th individual that was bred into G Shine back then. 94, 95. That's way before, you know what I mean? That's before the East Coast Division was even, what I'm saying, stamped.
Okay. Let me ask you a question because I heard you say some low life brothers. When you did the inception and you know took on that flag, right? Or took the oath or whatever the case may be. Uh was there some low life individuals that you could say, you know what, yo, such and such was low, and he was, he rocked right alongside, you know what I mean? So on and so forth. Because I know a lot of times when we hear these stories, some of the honorable men from back in that era, or the inception, their names is kind of lost in the sauce.
About it. Yeah.
So I just want you to kind of shed light, if you can, on some of the low life brothers that kind of
That
went up.
rocked with me. That, what I'm saying, that I brought into the situation, so to
Yeah, yeah,
speak.
yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, no, shit, I'm talking to one. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Between you and Yellow, you dig what I'm saying? You know, the boy KO, you know what I mean? Another one of my, you know what I'm saying, official tissues, you know what I'm saying? You know, Blood Sport was a line, but Sport, Sport wasn't, yeah, he was, Sport was low light, but he was G4. So Sport had his own situation, but he was loved and embraced by us, man. That's the boy Blood Sport, you know what I'm saying? One of Sean's official tissues, like really painted the town red, you know what I mean, on that island when it came to the island and so forth and so on. You dig? So and I ain't gonna go into so many other names, you dig what I'm saying? Because I don't know where the bros is at, what they may be doing and how they may, you know what I'm saying, take. What I will say is this, man, you know, proven fact, man. There ain't nobody in Shine, man, that had more highs than I had. You dig what I'm saying? Like for real. I painted the town red with, when it came to GKB, man. And that's just off for the fact of, the many different, you know what I mean, towns and states that I had been and I was visiting and so forth and so on. So, you know, at the end of the day, man, FB, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, FB, bro. You know what I mean? Nothing
Yeah,
more, nothing less.
and again, for the audience, for the people, for the youngsters listening, this is not to glorify violence in any way, shape, form, or
At
fashion.
all.
This is just a reality of what the circumstances was then, and what kind of transpired to make you know the wolves really show their teeth, and really get before, I would say, before we was getting active just to get active. Now we was getting active for a cause. It was more so reasoning behind, you know, if something got touched or whatever the case may be, it was warranted because there was violations and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
Uh,
but nah, yo, bro, like I respectfully beg to differ. I never got active just to be active. in the streets before I was Ola, when I was low life, or when I was, you know what I'm saying, just Lincoln and Troy, or whatever the case may be. I got active because the environment that I lived in was full of squalor. You know what I mean? It was full of trials and tribulations. It was full of poverty. It was full of, you know what I'm saying, criminal elements that, either I, looked up to in a sense of wanting to have like people and look down upon because I didn't want to be like other people who were suffering from it. So, when I got active to make an actual change in my life and the immediate people in my circumference life. I never did nothing in my life just to be doing it. When I was running the streets, you know what I'm saying, at 13, 14, you know what I'm saying, running from group homes and all that shit and ducking this and ducking that, or living in an abandoned building with, you know what I'm saying, the light bulbs attached to car batteries and shit like that, bro. It was because, you know what I'm saying, I had a West Indian father. I had you know what I'm saying, a beautiful mother who, you know what I'm saying, did the best that she could do, but a pops who was kind of strenuous to the borderline point of abuse. But I understand now what he was pushing. Back then I didn't. What I did know is that I didn't want to be the one with the holy pro kids or the holy, you know what I'm saying, Adidas and so forth, where I wanted the Adidas. And so at the end of the day, bro, like all my life, I knew exactly what it was that I was doing and why I was doing it. So yeah, it was never a moment or a time in my life that I was just active to be active. When we went to hit jewelry store windows and meet up in Albany Square Mall, when I was in 600 school, going to the fort and so forth and so on, I knew exactly what I was doing, getting around and meeting and aligning with the people that I knew was at that point getting to the bag and getting to the coins, and I wanted to be in the midst of them, to understand the dynamics, to understand, where it is I gotta be in the line in order to get my hand through the jewelry store window or get into Macy's and get out of there, you know what I'm saying, as easily as possible without, you know what I'm saying, getting snatched up or having to, you know what I'm saying, abuse people in the younger parts. So yeah, nah, bro, I ain't never do nothing just to be, active. I always did things with a purpose.
No doubt, and that's a good lesson to the youth, man. To let them know that uh, if you have to join something and you are kind of told to do something, like at that point, that is you doing something that you really didn't want to do per se. Uh, and again, I've never sent nobody to do nothing that I wasn't capable of doing myself.
Cool
You know,
facts.
I rather, you know, if it's going to be as up to I had to if it's going to be as up to me mentality. That's just how it was, you know.
Absolutely.
But for the youth, man, please, take heed, take notice. I know with social media, a lot of these stories, man, a lot of people, when they go back and they listen and they watch and they follow and they see the back in the days pictures, you know, they kind of want to put themselves there and make themselves relevant today. It ain't worth it, man. It ain't worth it at all. Uh, but yeah, let me go on the
Oh,
second line of questioning, man.
and vertical talk is based on being the real as we could possibly be. So, you know, um, back then nobody couldn't tell me that it wasn't worth it. My stomach was in my back most nights. You dig? I had four other brothers and sisters. Well, actually, you know what I'm saying? I had two, you know what I'm saying? I had two step brothers and sisters as well, you know what I'm saying? One and one. You dig, that occasionally came through or whatever. But for my immediate family, you dig what I'm saying? Like it wasn't always the best of times. So, you know, I didn't see no qualms with how I lived. I couldn't even comprehend it back then if it was. Because at the end of the day, you dig what I'm saying? If it was me being hungry or me looking at my brothers and sisters and the difference between, you know what I'm saying, 50 cent or $1 worth of bologna and a half a dozen of eggs or whatever the case may be, or some farina, I'm going to get that off the streets. And that's what I did. in a lot of occasions, and on a lot of occasions, and until what I'm saying, I became more crafty with the shit that I was doing in the streets. So I this in no point of view am I not in tune with some of the trials and tribulations that some of our younger brothers and sisters may be doing, regardless of what nationality or descent you're coming from. You know, um, it's just saying that uh, I can't sit here and act like I didn't once upon a time understand the hardships in totality. I can't sit here and act like I wasn't in those same group homes, whether it was Sparfit, whether it was Children's Village, whether what I'm saying, whether it was in when I reached the penal system of Rikers Island, or what I'm saying, up north, or whatever the case may be. So I I, I dig it. You dig? I dig it if it's really existing in your life where it's, you know, uh, uh, I'm not gonna say a life and death, but I'm gonna say that it's a hunger, it's a starve or feed yourself mentality. What I'm saying is that be conscious that how we go about doing things in life can bring about ramifications and consequences that you may not even be uh cognizant of, that you may not even understand exists until it's too late, or that a situation, whereas it was plenty of times when running out of them stores, a person could have easily been pushed over and hit their head, and there would have been a hat for if not one of us, multiple of us,
Mhm.
and we back then we did it out of a fun and a desperation, and people might not have really understood the desperation that existed at that time because they didn't know what was going in our households as individuals, coming home and you ain't got no hot water. So, either you got some fire by Con Edison to boil some water in a pot in order to take a bird bath in a tub or in your sink, or you don't. You dig? And anybody who knows that may not have taken a bath for a day or maybe even 2 days, they know when you start sweating, that itch get on, that itch is like a flea biting. You know what I mean? So yeah, we gonna keep it all the way a buck. That's this
But
vertical talk. You dig? And for me and my siblings, there was nights like that. So you dig what I'm saying? There was never a point where, like I said, man, I did anything just because. You know what I mean? Everything that I did in my life, for the most part, was for a cause of trying or striving to get ahead. Point blank. Period.
man, listen, I'm sitting here just thinking about some of them days coming outside, or meeting up with Boosie, or even the old soul, on Pat. She, man, it's just it's so many touching life stories that implement you know us, not only as teens, but up to the day as a grown adult, man. Uh, Salute to everybody around the way that kind of kept their prayers and stuff over us while we was out there
Oh, facts.
getting to the bag or whatsoever. Uh,
Absolutely.
but yeah, FB, man. Uh, I heard you say like verse 7 and so on and so forth. And I know, a lot of times in these situations we really don't want to name drop. So I'm kind of trying to ask the questions around dropping names. This way, those individuals, they can tell their own story. But as
Facts.
far as SB is concerned, right? Who would you say during your stint on it? Because from my understanding, the island inception of GKB and then the up north section of GKB is kind of two. It's the same function, but it was two different factions. Like you had, your main players up north, but then you had the sure enough team that was on the island, whether it's a 4 building, whether it was C95, or with they was a force to be reckoned with on the island. So when the revolution kind of, I'm gonna say, started, when the you know the Eda B8 syndrome, or what they used to call it, I'm trying to make sure I don't say no. Anyway, long story short, your pathway on the island, right? Would you say you played an intricate part in stamping your flag on the island?
Hey, yo, I don't think that I had the it goes back to me saying, and me saying over and over, I don't self-proclaim nothing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I left it to other brothers, you know what I'm saying? My big bros, you know what I'm saying? The Quells, the CKs, you know what I mean? The Robo Just, God rest his soul. You dig what I'm saying? Like, they stamped me, you dig? And they stamped me for a reason. Me personally, I stamped myself because I know who I was, and I know that I wasn't going for nothing, and I know the reasons that I became what I became, even though I didn't have to become, because I was good. Just like some of the names that I mentioned, they were good. You dig? We weren't individually being oppressed like a lot of others. And there's a lot of other good men who weren't being, we were recognized and respected by, these other entities at the time, Latin Kings and Yetas, familiars, you know what I mean? And even the police, who were at times, a lot of them during that time, also either Latin Kings, Nietas, or familiars, or were on the bandwagon due to the fact that they were the majority until blood came about. Um, so yeah, bro, when it comes to that, those who know. You dig? It ain't you can't dilute the truth, man. The truth don't need nothing to stand on. So again, a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? I ain't really into talking about it. I speak on it to get, as you say, insight to, individuals, the few individuals that I will, because it's like a missing link that you don't even hear these individuals. And these individuals were, like the start all of it all, you know what I'm saying, on when it was in the thick of it, when it was five pop six, like we represented that. Five pop six drop, five alive 6 months. We represented that in the aspect of anything that was in that five analogy, whether it was Latin Kings, Nietas, Familias, the police, and which later, you know what I'm saying, the Crips came in, all due respect to the Crips, you dig, was later on. But the first four was the Latin Kings, Nietas, Familias, and the police. They was they got it. You dig? And that's what our push was, you know. So yeah, when I came into it, I had a Brooklyn hit squad already, just in the form of, you know what I'm saying, my brother Blood Sport, Elevation, you know what I'm saying, when I got to the island, Parish, Hitman, Ring Dog, you know what I'm saying, and my little Bloody Valentine little nigga, man, rest in peace, man. You know what I'm
Excel.
saying? Excel, Factor Mundo. You dig what I'm saying? And other individuals, man, you dig what I'm saying, that, just that we ran into, and now, you know what I'm saying, even brought into the equation of it. But yo, once I was stamping, I started stamping. Oh man, it was what it was, man. We wreaked havoc on the alley. Like, yeah, we really reaped it.
And again, shout out to all the individuals that, if your name is not mentioned, or it's not that you weren't relevant or so on and so forth. It's just, time constraints kind of got us, pushing through But
And,
yeah,
and 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 not only that, you dig what I'm saying? It's just that, I don't know where the brothers may be at right now and whether or not
yeah,
some brothers are just reclusive like that, and a few of the brothers that was really putting it in that I do know for sure, I know them to be that way. So, they're not in for, they were never in it prior to even being Ola. They was never in it for the stardom. They was into life itself to just be the men that they were. You know what I mean? They ain't look for the accolades. They didn't look for the fame. They was, they was hitters. You know what I mean? Prior to being Ola and while being Ola. So I salute them and they know who they are and I know who they are. So, again, like you asked me, yo, bro, why you don't I don't have to, I'm speaking on it now to add on to the additional parts of, the life and times of FB in one segment, I should say. You know what I mean? But that was the past. But we have to come from the past in order to get to the present, in order to get to the future. So you know what I'm saying? I'm just taking, a trip down memory lane, hopefully giving, little bros and little sisters and men and women, you know what I'm saying, who choose to, listen to this story, know that, I really came from the muck and the mire, you know what I mean? And those, a lot of it may not be said or whatever. What I can and what I will choose to say, I will say because, I want to give an intimate little part of, you know, who this individual growing man truly was back in them times and where he's excelled to here and now. You know what I mean? So that's the reasoning behind this right here.
no doubt. And again, shout out to all the honorable people, man. The ones that
Facts.
you know everybody know who they was. Your story, your legacy. You know, we leave it up to you, for y'all to tell it. We just
You know? Just tell it accurately.
some of the
Yeah.
people that's proclaiming that you know they were the ones. Uh, History always have a way of revealing the truth. For years people ran with the story of Christopher Columbus discovered America, right? A lot of these individuals who hit the internet first, hit social media first, they are self-proclaimed members. They are, some of their stories got a lot of holes in it. Um, ball
And
mean,
please believe, there were a lot of individuals, you dig, that they just, you know what I'm saying? Because I talk to like now, and like dudes really don't care. Like, yo, what you tell we know. You know that I know you're not the dude you're not the chick that you say you are. So me having to address it or them having to address it, they man, yo, bro, that part of my life is done. Let them, they can
mhm,
have it. They still up. So, to you, man, I salute you, man. Live the lie, man. Live the lie how you choose to live the lie, man. You know what I mean? Those that was there, they know you dig. If whatever they want to feel to tell a story, they're gonna tell a story about others that was what I mean? Yeah, like them that was there as well, man, who really put it. Me, man, it don't, it's really no never mind up to the point that you dig. I just again wanna, let it be known that, you got a lot of little brothers and sisters following airheads, man, real goofies, you dig what I'm saying, who's going for, the 24 karat, gold situation, the fool's gold aspect of it
mhm,
though. So yeah, man, that's what it is, man. But yeah, man, yeah, we in the building. We always been in the building. You know what I mean? From little, yeah,
man.
that way.
Now,
Word.
man, we on this social media run, man. We on uh this sharing of lifestyle, sharing of like minds, so on and so forth. Uh, we've been up here a little over half an hour. You know, is there any portion of of the reflecting as far as back on them times that you know kind of want to set the record straight on. Like, was there ever a time where, you know, I mean, a nasty myth or rumor whatsoever, you know, and you sat down and you were like, you know, nah, it didn't go that way. I need to correct that. You know, is there anything that you could think of that fits
Yo,
that?
bro, listen, man. At the end of the day, man, listen, man. I've always been a firm believer. You know, my mama gave this to me, man. God rest her soul, man. They persecuted Jesus. Who the fuck am I? So when I look at things from that perspective, Duke, you dig life is life. As it is above, so it is below. So if they did it to him, you dig what I'm saying? Like you got, that's just the way of life. You dig, like I say, the truth need nothing to stand on. So when you stand on truth, you dig, like we had a saying in Ola, G9, so G6, man. Godfather floats with Don Juan the Bond. Yo, you can't be faded, man. Real shit just can't be faded. Real shit can't be diluted, homie. So at the end of the day, there's no need to, to respond and so forth and so on. You dig? Because to respond is to have the individual or the individuals that may be creating or making or saying, giving them some kind of, nah, homie. You dig? So no, I don't. You dig? Whatever, who knows, who need to know, they know, and who don't need to know, they can keep grasping for straws until they pick their own straw. And you know what I'm saying? It's their ultimate demise. You dig what I'm saying? One way or another. You dig? It's all way, man, from the coming out of my mom's womb, man. I knew one thing, and everything that I knew, I stood tall on, kid, and that's the streets, you know what I'm saying? The codes of conduct that the streets, asked of you, the codes and conducts that prison asked of me, and just the codes and conduct of just being a growing man and knowing and understanding when enough was enough. Like nobody, never, like, a lot of individuals, whether it was whatever entity, be it Muslim, be it 5%, be it Blood, Crip, Niatan, Latin King, a lot of people join these situations for the fear of being dominated by others who were, lions, tigers, bears, and hyenas and so forth. I didn't have that problem. I ain't had that problem. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know what I mean? Everything that I did because I chose or I felt and believed that I was an asset or others felt that I was an asset to it. You know what I mean? So yeah, bro, like, nah, what, man? I lived the life that some people just, I lived the life that some people just dream. You know what I mean? That's it. You dig? They, and again, it's not to gloat. It's just to say I did it, and let's not get it twisted. A lot of people say, "Yo, I ain't remorseful." Well, I'm not really remorseful. There's parts of it that, what I'm saying, there can be some remorse for certain situations. You know, um, However, those succession of lessons made me the individual that I am, and has allowed me to get through a lot of concrete jungles, man, so to speak, man, up and down. You know what I mean? Up and down those turnpikes and so forth and so on that I travel. So, I thank God, what I mean, for giving me knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You know what I mean? And to see what I needed to see and accept things for what they were as opposed to what they appeared to be, like a lot of individuals, and that wind up getting not only sucked into, no homo, but sucked up by. You know what I mean? And and that's just it, bro. You know what I mean? Like I said, man, G9, so G6, man, was one of the, lingos that, real G's can't die, we multiply, you know what I mean? Godfather Flo, Don Juan DeMarco, bro. And I kind of just lived on the the fact that, what I'm saying, not only did I carry, Ola at that time, I carried blood on my back because, that's what I had chose to take an oath to, and to do anything and everything to keep, our oppressors at that time from thinking that they had free reign to just continuously do what they was doing to brothers of color. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And if you had to ask me honestly at that time, was there any happiness in my yeah, without a question. You can you even imagine, you know what I'm saying, being in a building like C95, you know, or any other buildings at the time that had Hispanic officers and black officers that was, you know, really scared of them people just as much as a lot of blacks were scared of them individuals. And that paradigm shift happened and they start to root for blood and they started to say, "Oh my goodness gracious, these black dudes got these people under pressure," and start to change sides. Now, hardcore, you know, Spanish officers and black officers who might not have been Latin kings, but they just respected the fact that they wanted to make it home that night. So, you know, they didn't make no ripples in the ocean. Is now saying, man, these blacks is standing up, they going at, and we wasn't playing, my dude. Like we was really doing what we needed to do for black upliftment. So I was there at the peak of really what it really meant to, you know, what the name really was made for, and that's brotherly love overriding oppression and destruction. We knew and understand at that time that we was loved by few, which was the few of us who really had the courage, who really had that Serengeti mindset and animal instinctual nature, you know, to do what we needed to do in order to either make them respect that we exist or topple their whole regime. And by the time it was over, we had toppled the whole regime where the tables had turned and the peace talks had to start. You dig? Whereas, yo, man, the flags had to start getting raised and so forth and so on. So yeah, bro, you know, like when it comes to that, you know, like yeah, was it a proud moment for for Team Blood at that time? Yes, it was. And again, I don't say this to gloat in the hair now. I'm saying at that time when it really made a significant change in the way that brothers, what I'm saying, on the island were being treated by not just the aforementioned gang, but the same ones who were supposed to be protecting them under the law of being correctional officers. So yeah, that's what that was.
No doubt. Shout out to all of them individuals that got it on with
Man,
uh,
it's a lot.
the oppressors,
It's a
the
lot. It's a lot.
officers as well
Mhm.
to uphold that oath, man. Because
Yeah,
a lot of people folded. A lot of people when catch them and they wasn't uh where the numbers wasn't in blood favor, would tuck their flag and run. While others, instead of running out of the house, ran up in the houses. Shout out to them
fact.
brothers when they and again, these is all everything that I'm saying. These individuals and people that put on. Uh, I salute them, man, because again, at that time, during those circumstances, something needed to be done, and there was a few, I'm gonna say, great men that stood the test of time and really
Absolutely.
put
Yeah.
in, uh, you know,
We could look at, I hear a lot of people say that, what I'm saying, and it's true to a degree. You know, Mac may have came over and it may have been all a big lie for whatever reason. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not in his mind to say that. You dig? Me and the bro never had real, interactions. My bro was the beloved SI, man, God rest his soul. But what I do know is this, regardless of the great lie that he may have told, regardless of the manipulative tactics that he may have, been exhibiting or carrying out for his own beneficial reasons, what I will say is when you look past all that, when you look past the fact that if Mac hadn't come to Rikers Island, hadn't did what he did, would we have climbed out of that rut that we were in of oppression by those said entities? You dig? And I have to say no. Is it an actual fact that sooner or later it may have happened? Of course. That's a possibility. But at that time, it happened when there were warriors, you know, the MKs, the Mandus, the Hitmans, the Parises, the Ring Dogs, the Shockwells, the Soul Bees, just so many, bro. Just so many, man. You dig that were official tissue individuals. I'm not talking about individuals who needed a posse in order to become a lion. I'm talking about lions that orchestrated posses to go against other lions in certain kind of entities. Yeah, bro. So I hear a lot. When it comes to a lot of things that's said, and people have their own opinions. So I don't try to dispute or even, well, I will try to refute it in some degree because I'm always looking at the pros of a situation. You dig? A lot of people may speak about, the ills of some of the big bros and whether or what they partook in, whether it was drugs or whatever. Well, the fact remains that guess what? My uncles and so forth, I know a lot of people, they were just alcoholics. What society deemed an alcoholic, but they have been drinking for so long. I mean, I know people have been drinking since they was 11, since we was off the porch at 11 years old. They was drinking. They came up in their household drinking. So now their functioning way of life is, guess what? That having a drink is normal as opposed to not having a drink or sniffing dope or shooting dope or whatever drug or choice it chose to be. You dig? They're more functioning with it. And and some people may look and try to, paint this picture, but in those times, guess what? Yeah, it's a known fact that the majority of the big bros, and this was with exception with those that didn't, but the majority of the big bros had one vice or another. But guess what? They was functioning. They were functioning, and I'm talking about they was even more. They were more probably deadly or callous or nefarious when they were in their normal state, and that was on the drugs and off of it. You dig? So I believe that that's a part that's missing. And for those who may not understand it, that's just because you wasn't from that era and you weren't able to see them individuals not miss a beat, regardless whether they had some dog food in their system, weed. You dig? Like I tell the young boys nowadays, they can sit up there, yo, that old head be over there, he be on this and he be on that. But yeah, you on Molly, you on ecstasy. That got every drug in it. You dig what I'm saying? So how can it's like I said again on one of the other platforms? He without sin cast the first stone. You dig? You might be a womanizer. You might be beating up chicks and nobody just knows of it right now. You may be a DV predator. You dig? You may be running around sexing 13 or 14-year-old chicks and got an addiction to it. You may be a mad jacker. We see them all the time. You dig? So a lot of people, until their intimate life unfolds, they want to point the finger and got four fingers pointing back at them for some shit that just ain't been unveiled yet. So I try to, what I'm saying, like stay away from that aspect. I try to see the person for the light in them. You dig? Whatever light you had at that position, whatever you did to fall from grace, or whatever the case may be, that's you. You dig? You did that, however it happened, cool. But again, like when it comes to some of the old heads, man, that, what I'm saying, they say it fell from grace. I don't care whether it was Dizzy, like I was in the building when my son was in that house. You dig? Like my first this thing came from that boy because of me going down to C73. The story is what it is, and me telling him, yo, Playboy, I can't take no lines from nobody that's in this such and such, and it was him and the bro. It was a few of the bros. You dig what I'm saying? So yo, at the end of the day, I don't say this to paint no blemish. I'm just saying that I was there for a lot of things that I'm saying that I don't, speak of because it hasn't reached the surface of that which has reached the surface and has been an onslaught. Yeah, but can I take anything from away from the boy? No, in his time, he had his goal. So be it. That's what it is. Me personally, I'm speaking from the aspect of what I contributed and what brothers like me, the God rest the soul, ring dogs and the bloods was those that's not mentioned, the Parises and so forth and so on, and a lot of and a lot of individuals, the Mojos and so forth, man, and
Mhm.
that those names are not really mentioned. You know what I'm saying? The Tom Stones, so forth and so on, man, and that's what that is. But it is what it is, man. Or
And again, never will I. Uh, if your story got blemishes and you got faults or things that are deemed dishonorable, that's on you to point out your flaws. We're not on this platform to, to really blast anybody. What we will do though is make sure that we stand tall and honor those individuals without them blemishes, without them you know them jackets of despicable acts, I should say. Um, and again,
but like end of the day, yeah, but you know what? But see, and to some degree, because even a person with like they said, a broke clock is right twice a day. You dig, and even like I said, whether it was, let me just say the homie Dizzy. You dig what I'm saying? Like, or even Matt at a time, whether he ate food or whatever the case may be. I don't look at it. His food was that he brought something to a culture. He brought something to a people who needed, what I mean, saving in a sense. So for that, you dig, I will always, what I'm saying, salute him. You dig, for individuals like Dizzy, like, at the time, what I mean, when he came in, regardless of, what happened, that was after the fact. So, your fall of grace from a sense, I remember the times that you really, what I'm saying, stood tall in the midst of, what I'm saying, those five families that were originally a part of the U. You did. Like, I didn't come into the U when the U was, and I didn't come a part of the U when the U was considered a gang. Nah, homie. That wasn't it from the inception. It was the UBA Nation, and it was more an organized entity. We were organized and we were structured. We had discipline and we had militants. Those first five families, man, hoods, man, were the hoods that led all other hoods. I don't care whether it's NYBBA or anything that came as an NYB. Everything derived from a structure and an entity that put on one cause for one love of one blood, which was the United Nation of Blood. Back then, the pride that we had in ourselves, the self-esteem that brothers had in themselves and the brother next to you to the right or the left was monumental. To hear that roll call like I was there when the island got shut because of Ola, because we wasn't going for nothing. And I'm talking about as a standard force. And even if you had more scared dudes amongst the midst of the many good warriors, comrades, they didn't have no fear when they were cohesively aligned to the brothers next to them. That was without a question. All that fear dissipated. When you knew, even that, and trust me, I've been around a lot of men, homie. And I've been around a lot of men who were forward enough to say, yo, bro, I ain't gonna front back on. I used to be scared, but the only thing that kept me pushing red was because you and that nigga Bloodsport was next to me. So I knew that I had somebody that, regardless of what, was going to either back me up or pull me out. And you dig, like, that was the kind of camaraderie that existed back then. Word, homie. So, big ups to my son Elevation as well, man. 'Cause that was my right hand. You dig? Like, yeah, big up the Albany Projects, man. You know what I'm saying? The flagstone of, what I'm saying, Brooklyn. Brooklyn, Ola, man. The flagstone of, what once was, what I'm saying, a home in which, you know, not only showed me a lot prior to being Ola, but it showed me a lot being Ola. You dig what I'm saying? In the sense of, just recognizing friends and foes, and like I say, just instrumental parts of my life has made me a better version of myself in this damn time when you can look back in retrospect. So yeah, bro, like yeah, it is what it is, man.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Listen, what? One thing when you said the roll call, like when roll calls really started on especially in a full building, like when them roll calls came, man. Uh, you talking about deafening? It was
Yeah,
deafening. It really put a stamp on what was to come. So I think of it like the movie 300, right? In
facts.
300, you had a few stars that was the main characters, but cohesively, you know, they took on armies, outnumbered, out whatever, and
That's what
because
we
it was
did.
a unit, the effectiveness of that unit, they prevailed in a lot of wars.
That's
So,
what we. That's what we
man,
did. And anybody know, and when I say that's what we did, like, even, bro, back in the days we had the Ninja Turtles. Like, even they respect. Let me tell you something about that roll call. Let me tell you something about the brotherhood. Let me tell you something about the nation back then that a person has to respect, regardless of how you look at it or how the justice system look at it now. It says that, regardless of what admirable things y'all may have done or whatever the case may be, y'all still here and now are construed as a gang. That's their titles. But back then, truth be told, bro, it wasn't nothing but straight up a band of blood brothers. And that's an actual book of, what I'm saying, the first black, like some of the first black militiamen, what I'm saying, who ever joined the armed forces, who were going against the oppressive nature of the Europeans that was in them armed forces. And they had to band together, what I'm saying? So they considered themselves and called themselves, what I'm saying, the band of blood brothers. You dig? So a lot of, a lot of blood history, not only derives from the history of, what I'm saying, some of our ancestors and activists, it also derives from some of our, some of the spiritual sects, whether it's the Nation of Islam, what I mean, Sunni Muslims, like, dudes took excerpts and certain parts out of certain situations. But what I do know for a fact, 110%, because, I was one of them that played a part in the luxury of being able to say, yo, I'm proud for a moment, whether it was from the time that I came in 94, 95, to the time that, what I'm saying, I started to realize that this was no longer about the cause. It started to be about because, I could honestly say that I seen that moment. I seen that moment when, as in Spike Lee's Malcolm X, when Malcolm X went up to that precinct to get that brother, and them police was like, that's too much power for one organization to have. I was there for that. I was there to see the five families, man, the first five hoods, create a situation through our fearlessness, through our, a promotion of, you ain't doing nothing to one of us if it ain't getting done to three to five of y'all. I was there to see the individuals that was in the blue shirts and that was supposed to be for the care, custody, and control of buildings that we were residing in. respect us. Respect us and respect us wholeheartedly. You dig? Because of the uniformity, because of the love that they seen that we actually exhibited and dispersed and exuded from us as individuals and then as a unit. Man, it was a beautiful time. You dig? And you know, it's no real words to really to express that other than what I've said, man. And for those that didn't see it, I can understand why they may have these, you know, these views of, yo, again, with the G's, and I tip my hat to y'all brothers. You dig, regardless of the slander, whatever case may be. Y'all played imperative parts. Y'all was very instrumental in the cohesiveness that got us out from under the yoke of those four. Because at that point, you know what I'm saying, the Crips wasn't really, you know what I'm saying, as active as the other four in New York State. You dig? But yeah, you know, collectively, the first five hoods, man, of the United Blood Nation, man, is what really, you know what I'm saying, set the precedence that a lot of individuals that would have normally went to Rikers Island couldn't even wear their shoes that they got off the bus with were able to. So, you know, for those, for a lot of individuals, that's like, oh yeah, you know, even some of the things that exist right now to this day that y'all able to do that y'all wouldn't have been able to do back then is because of them same bros that y'all choose to, you know what I'm saying, may look at and see down because, you know what I mean, for whatever reasons. But, you know, again, I remember you, you know what I mean? And I salute you for, you know what I'm saying, what you contributed to the cause that that was at hand back then. Word.
And on that note, been a per hour, you know, partner of God, you know, I'm gonna just say back then and now, it wasn't easy, but it sure was fun, man. You
Man,
know,
man,
it
man.
ain't easy, but it sure was fun, man. You
The
know,
lingo, man, you know, that
you gotta
was the
believe it.
lingo.
You
And
know,
that's how we ran through them buildings. It ain't easy, but it sure is fun. You
better
know, word.
believe it, man.
Yeah,
So,
man.
go on, close this out. We're gonna get y'all with, you know, this was part
Man,
two. You
again,
know, we reflect. Uh,
it's a
we,
lot more reflection going on. Like, you
yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? That's just the start, bro. Like, you know, it's a lot, man. You know, and I'm touching certain individuals to see, you know what I'm saying, it's okay because there's a lot of stories that, you know what I'm saying, that yo, bro, that we were responsible for, man, and we laughed and we cried and we did a lot of shoe time, you know what I mean? Whether it was in a dog pound, you know what I'm saying, leading that piece of mighty, you know what I mean? It just meant what it was, man. So again, I don't want nobody that's listening to feel that it's glorifying. I want you to understand that for a moment or for a fraction of my life in 54 years, that was one of a few memorable moments where, well, I'm gonna say that was one because that's one by itself. Because that memorable moment of being, you know, blood back in 94, 95, up until I respectfully, you know what I'm saying, chose to look at things differently, was a moment that I can honestly say, outside of just looking at a TV screen and seeing Malcolm X or Martin Luther King, you know what I mean, or Stokely Carmichael, you know, or the NAACP or the SNLC, you know, move cohesively together with the intentions on making things better for a race of people that look like them. I was able to share that moment inside of a penal institution where the same, like the same uh the same oppressive kind of nature was happening, you know. Maybe not to the extent of, well, nah, it was actually to that extent as well, because a few people did get killed or died
Mhm.
along that journey. So yeah, but to say that I was, a part of a change that allowed, a lot of black brothers, man, to be able to walk through a corridor or go into a house, you know what I'm saying, and not just off the gate be oppressed or victimized by another race or nationality. Yeah, we could never. And then if you have, and if you do, I'm gonna remind you, you can't forget that part. And I know it's easy because we forget what Malcolm and Martin. No, we don't. A lot of other people do forget what Malcolm and Martin and W.E.B. Du Bois and Marcus Garvey and the Sojourner Truths and the Harriet, all of our great, the Paul Robesons and so forth and so on, man, you know what I'm saying, have done, and have died for, and we squander, you know what I'm saying, we squander the quality of life that they ensured, that they made happen for us. So with that being said, man, this is Vertical Talk, man, and hopefully something that I've said or shared, on this platform today, will resonate with someone, man, somewhere to, what I mean, before, what I'm saying, totally condemning somebody else, man, look within yourself to find or to see how many flaws you may have. And maybe that'll keep you from looking at somebody else sideways, you know what I'm saying, and judging them harsher than you may judge yourself or will want somebody to judge you. You dig? To my brothers and sisters that are still languishing the walls, as I come, I go. Salutes, keep the fight up. To the Most High, continue to send you my prayers and my thanks for allowing me to be here on this side of that fence, and hoping that you'll continue to send your blessings down upon me and those that you allow into my circumference and allow me into their circumference. Chip, man, anything you got to say before we go, man?
Man, listen, I see them at the top, man.
There
We
we
see
go.
y'all at the top. You already.
Vertical Talk, man. 100, man. Be safe, be blessed. One.
All right.